Hugo the hamster was a curious fellow. Every night, while his human family slept, he'd stare out of his cage at the shadowy furniture and dream of grand adventures. There must be more to life than sunflower seeds and this spinning wheel, he'd often sigh. One night, while gnawing on the bars of his cage, as he often did, Hugo felt something give way. To his surprise, the cage door swung open. He was free. Heart pounding with a mix of excitement and nervousness, Hugo scurried out into the great unknown of the living room. Everything seemed enormous. The legs of the sofa were like towering trees, and the rug felt like a vast, woolly meadow beneath his tiny feet. He scurried under a bookshelf, his whiskers twitching as he encountered a family of dust bunnies. "Greetings," squeaked Hugo, ever the polite adventurer. The dust bunnies, startled by this tiny, furry visitor, simply stared back with beady button eyes. Undeterred, Hugo continued his exploration. He climbed a mountain range of pillows, scaled the sheer cliff face of the coffee table, and even braved the treacherous landscape of the toy-strewn floor. He encountered a one-eyed teddy bear, a plastic dinosaur with a missing tail, and a robot that blinked at him with eerie red eyes. But the most amazing discovery awaited him in the kitchen. There, on the counter, sat a plate piled high with cookies! Hugo's tiny heart nearly burst with joy. He'd never seen so many delicious treats in one place. Forgetting all caution, Hugo scrambled up the tablecloth, his tiny claws finding purchase on the fabric. He reached the top, panting with exertion, and took a giant bite of a chocolate chip cookie. It was the tastiest thing he'd ever tasted. Suddenly, the kitchen light flicked on. Hugo froze, a crumb clinging to his whisker. There, standing in the doorway, was his human, a little girl with sleepy eyes and a look of surprise on her face. Hugo braced himself for the worst, but instead of being angry, the little girl giggled. "Hugo!" she exclaimed. "You escaped!" She gently scooped him up and placed him back in his cage, adding a few extra treats for good measure. Hugo, tired but happy, snuggled into his bedding, his belly full of cookies and his head full of adventure. He had seen the great wide world beyond his cage, faced his fears, and even discovered a hidden treasure trove of cookies. As he drifted off to sleep, Hugo knew that even though he was just a small hamster, his heart was big enough for 1,000 more adventures.